Thank you, President Harrison. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here today. I grew up just down the road in Rome, New York, and from a very early age, I can remember being impressed by the quality and prestige of this great university. I'm grateful to President Harrison and the trustees of the university for bestowing on me an honorary degree and for inviting me to speak here today. As honored as I am, we all know that the real stars of today's activities are the members of the class of 2016. And so let me say it early and often, congratulations to each and every one of you. As some of you may know, my wife Colleen and I have a very special bond with and affection for a member of this class, our youngest daughter, Mary Claire. Mary Claire has had a wonderful experience here at Colgate. Colleen and I, and indeed our whole family, have had the pleasure of getting to know MC's whole posse, Katie, Molly, Hannah, Sarah, Jess, and Annie, as well as their families. During their time at Colgate, we've had dinners and parties together here in Hamilton, including a pretty good one last night, and we've even taken vacations together. Our whole family has been enriched by these experiences. Personally, my favorite enrichment experience was the lacrosse party that we attended last fall. I enjoyed my introduction to Keystone Light, which may be the worst beer ever brewed. And it's very amusing to watch what can safely be characterized as oldies, people like me, try to relive their youth by playing beer pong. Sometimes graduates feel a sense of sadness on a day like today because the college experience is so great and there's this lurking fear that you'll be moving on from your college friends. I'll let the class of 2016 in on a little secret that may ease your concerns in this regard. You never really move on from your college friends. You may be separated by circumstances and distance, but the bonds that you formed in this great environment during a unique period of maturation will hold you together. Even if you see your college friends infrequently, you will find that the fondness and familiarity will return quickly. And when you need friends the most, the first ones to show up will be your Colgate friends. Friends and family are often mentioned in the same breath, so let me say a word about family as well. A college education at an institution like Colgate is a privilege. Very few of you could have enjoyed this privilege without the support of your families, and often that support involves sacrifice by your parents. Please take a minute today and let your parents, or whoever supported you while you were here at Colgate, know how much you appreciate that support. It will mean the world to them. Commencement addresses are about looking forward. So enough about college and how great it's been. It's now time to look forward to what's next. In looking ahead, I'm going to take advantage of my position just a bit. While I certainly have some thoughts of my own, I'm also going to draw on the wisdom of some great baseball philosophers in the hope that I can offer the graduates some advice that will be useful in their transition to independence. A major portion of the rest of your life will be devoted to work, but that doesn't have to be bad news. Work can be enjoyable and fulfilling if you can find a career about which you are passionate. Most jobs require genuine effort, most jobs require sacrifice, and most jobs, at least occasionally, produce stress and frustration. The effort, the sacrifice, the stress, and the frustration are much easier if your work involves something about which you are passionate. Even more important, if you're passionate about your work, your successes will be all that more valuable to you. A second crucial ingredient to job satisfaction is collegiality. A little collegiality produces a better work environment, better results, and more satisfaction. You have to remember that collegiality is a group effort. Leaders should make an effort to create an atmosphere of collegiality, but that effort will only be successful if others in the workplace, no matter what their position, participate as well. Everyone should make an effort to be inclusive and encourage a free exchange of ideas at work. Interact positively with your coworkers, recognize their accomplishments, and be generous with your praise for praiseworthy efforts. Over time, you will find that your coworkers will become supporters and allies in your effort to move ahead professionally. I would be remiss if I did not mention a concept with which I have struggled throughout my career: work-life balance. I've been in the workforce for 33 years. I've been lucky. Today, I have what I regard to be the best job in the world. But even before I became commissioner, I had great jobs that allowed me to interact with very successful and interesting people: a federal judge, partners in a great law firm, and dynamic leaders in the sports industry. In my 33 years, I have unfortunately seen the careers of some talented people come to unhappy endings. Almost without exception, those unhappy endings occurred with people who became completely wrapped up in their careers to the point that they seemed to lose their identities independent of their jobs. It would be as if I thought of myself as the commissioner of baseball rather than Rob Manfred, whose job, I might add temporarily, happens to be commissioner of baseball. The loss of identity is symptomatic, in my view, of an improper work-life balance. People become so engrossed in their careers that family, friends, and outside interests, the things that really matter, fall by the wayside. And the myopic focus on work can rob people of objectivity and judgment. These people who lose their sense of self, independent of their title, become so obsessed with keeping their jobs that they lose their ability to do their jobs effectively. Ironically, this obsession with work all too often leads to failure at work. Obviously, you have to pay attention to your career and strive to be successful. It's equally important, however, to focus on family, non-work interests, and the community in which you all live. This broader focus will make you better and more effective in the workplace and happier in your life as a whole. So now let's turn to one of my favorite topics, baseball, for just a few short minutes. What do some baseball greats have to offer by way of advice to you as graduates? Lou Brock is a Hall of Famer who played his best years with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was known for his speed and daring on the base paths, which disrupted opponents with amazing regularity. Lou Brock once said, "Show me a guy who's afraid to look bad, and I'll show you a guy I can beat every day." As Lou correctly points out, life is a risk-reward business. If you're not willing to take the occasional and well-thought-out risk, you will never reach your full potential. Be smart, be analytical, use good judgment, but don't forget to be bold. Think big thoughts and set high goals. If you follow this advice, you will have far fewer regrets when you reach my age than if you don't. Joe Torre is, of course, the Hall of Fame manager of the New York Yankees. I'm also proud to say he's a colleague and a friend. Joe once said, "Hitting home runs and all that other good stuff is not enough. It is how you handle yourself in all the good times and the bad times that matters." In that one short sentence, there are two great messages. First, it is a skill to handle success with grace. You all have received the gift of a great education, and you'll enjoy many successes in your lives. With each success, take a moment, draw a breath, and think about humility. If you take quiet pride in your accomplishments and project a sense of humility, others will welcome the opportunity to celebrate your success, making that success all the sweeter. The second lesson relates to the bad times. People often say that one of the great virtues of baseball is it teaches young people important lessons, the most important of which is the ability to overcome failure. Think about it. Even the best major league player fails 2 out of 3 times when he comes to the plate. Yet those players, over and over again, regroup, learn from their failures, and figure out a way to be successful in the next at-bat. When you fail, and all of us do, embrace the failure. Figure out why it happened, learn from your mistakes, and recommit yourself to finding success. Finally, the most important baseball player that ever lived was Jackie Robinson. He may not have been the best player, but he certainly had the greatest and most lasting effect on American society. Jackie broke the color barrier in baseball and helped fuel a revolution that changed our collective view of race relations. He began a process that led to a national debate over race relations that continues to this day, and in the course of it, he endured indignities, hardship, and hatred. As you might expect, Jackie once uttered words that I believe teach the most important life lesson of all. Jackie said, "A life is not important except in the impact that it has on other lives." In a society that focuses on immediate self-gratification, these words may seem anachronistic, but in actuality, they are timeless. They are reflective of a fundamental tenet of every major religion, namely the need to help others and treat them with respect. I must confess, I don't remember a single thing about the commencement address at my college graduation 30 years ago. I spent a bunch of time on Google last week, and I can't even find out who gave the address. So I hope from this address you'll remember at least one thing. Jackie Robinson was right. You will all have busy and successful lives. Please find room and time in those busy lives to positively impact the lives of others. Engage in your community, provide service to others. Be generous with your wealth, and try to help those that are less fortunate. At the end of the day, what you do for others is what really matters. Again, congratulations to the class of 2016.